How old was I 10 years ago? 10 years ago, I was 17 years old. Is that true?
Well,
So
I'm
10 years
29.
ago, so you were 19. So you were an adult.
So I
So in your
was.
entire childhood, you never got to witness good Royals.
So the Royals. I was almost 19 when the Royals won it all. So yeah,
Well, yeah, and then it was your birthday right after that.
yeah.
Good season for you.
Yeah, so I watched
Good season of life.
bad Royals baseball for my entire life.
What was your favorite team? What was your favorite Royals team before we went to the World Series?
My favorite Royals team before we went to the World Series was probably I feel like it's kind of a mixture of different eras because like I remember like growing up with baseball, obviously my whole life, but I remember like when I really started paying attention to baseball was probably 2005, 2006. So like somewhere in there. So having like John Buck, Mark Tien, Angel Baroa, Mark Gredzalonic, might have was that like Jose Guillen and all those?
Yeah, Jose
Yeah,
was out in the right field, man.
Emil Brown.
Well, if you try to remember, like if I try to remember like the 2K6 like starting lineup for the Royals, I know like Alex Gordon was on the roster, but he wasn't starting because he was a third baseman still, and he sucked.
Yeah, I think that would have been. Would Mark Tien have been the third baseman at the time? Because Mark Tien got moved from infield to outfield for Alex Gordon. So I feel like Tien would have been a third baseman at the time there.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's look this up.
All right, you look it up there, Mr. Research.
2006 Kansas City Royals starting lineup opening day.
Like Ken Harvey. Was he on that team? Doug
No,
Minkiewicz.
he was not on that game. Okay.
It was like Doug Minkiewicz.
All right. At catcher, we had John Buck. First base, we had Doug Mickiewicz.
That's Doug Minkiewicz.
Second base, we had Gredzalonic. Second base, we had Gredzalonic. At short, we had Angel Baroa. Is it Angel or Angel?
I think it's Angel. Rookie of the Year, Angel Baroa.
Oh. Wait, of that season?
I think it was 2004 that he was Rookie of the Year.
At third base, Mark Tien. Good memory here. In right field, we had Reggie Sanders.
Oh, Reggie Sanders.
I completely forgot about.
Yeah.
Center field, David DeJesus. We all love. And then Emil Brown was in left field.
Emil Brown. So Jose Guillen wasn't on that team.
All I remember is every time I'd play, I would take Emil Brown out of left and put Alex Gordon in. I remember specifically opening up the menus and always changing it. And I'm pretty sure I would take out Minkiewicz, whatever you said.
Minkiewicz.
And I would put in Billy Butler.
Billy Butler? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So to answer the question, my favorite team before 2015, I don't know what year it was, but we had Miguel Olivo at catcher.
Oh, that would have been
and we had a
2008, 9, 10, somewhere in there.
2008 and 2009. Okay.
Was that like that was like Scott Pasednik? Scott Pasednik might have been 2010. Scott Pasednik, Mike Jacobs with his big dip at first base.
Mike Jacobs. Okay, listen. There's this memory, and if you look it up on YouTube, you can still find it today. But there's this video. Mike Jacobs, he goes up to bat. I'm at this game, and right before he swings, I yell, "Hit a home run!" with my high-pitched little boy voice, and you can hear it. And then he whacks a home run to right field. It was a beautiful moment for me because I literally went home that night. I watched the highlights on TV, and you can hear, "Hit a home run!" in the background. Well, you can't hear hit a home run. You just hear
Hey,
then that big lefty swing.
the greatest fan audio ever will
Oh yeah,
be,
we don't even have to.
you can't tag him with your butthole.
Which we later found out you can tag him with your
Yeah,
butthole
you
because he
sure
was out.
can.
Pretty sure this is like Willie Bloomquist era. Oh yeah, yep. This is my team right here. Oh my gosh, listen to this. This is it. I think this is my one of my favorite teams because this is when I started actually really liking the Royals because we didn't get 2K6 when it was brand new. We got 2K6 when it was like 2007, 2008,
Yeah.
and then I had to go in and create all the players or like go find them on different rosters and cut them and
Yeah.
then sign them with the Royals. All right, you ready for this? At catcher, we had Miguel Olivo. First base, Mike Jacobs. Second base, Mark Tien. Third base, Alex Gordon. And at short, we had Mike Aviles. One of the
Oh my
greatest.
gosh, with the craziest batting stance ever. Yeah, my goodness. What was that?
Okay. At right field, we had Jose Guillen. Center field, we had Coco Crisp.
Coco. He was okay. I think Coco Crisp was only on the team for like 4 days because he got hurt.
Oh, he was on the team for. He was at least on the team for 2 years.
I don't think so.
Okay. And then left field, we had David DeJesus. It might have been 3 years. I'm pretty sure we had Coco for a while.
Yeah, he played one season for the Royals and he played 49 games. He got hurt.
I guess I just must have played video games with him on the roster for longer because
Yeah.
I just liked him.
You got everything out of a 2K6. I got 2K6 for my birthday from Logan, my friend, and it was already open. And I'm like, why is it already open? And he's like, oh, I played it a little bit. I'm like, what? Okay. Broke it in.
I mean, it's only fair, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
That's crazy though that we only had Coco for like 40 something games. That's crazy. But yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention designated hitter. We got Billy Butler, and starting pitcher that opening day was Gil Mesh.
Gil Mesh, Brian Bannister, Joaquin Soria would have been the closer for that team, I think.
But yeah. Oh yeah. Some of the bench players were Brian Pena, Betancourt, Bloomquist, Mitch Meyer.
Mitch
to name a
Meyer.
few.
I always liked Mitch Meyer.
I did too. Isn't he on our coaching staff right now?
He is or was, yeah.
I think he is right now. But yeah, shout out that team because that was probably the team that sold me into liking baseball because that was the time frame as a kid where I'm a homeschool kid. We're looking for things to do, and I'm like begging my mom, "Can you sign me up for baseball?" And what happened was she was able to find like a Christ Prep or something football team, and I was like, I don't think I want to play football. I want to play baseball. And never played either one, unfortunately. But I should have definitely taken the bait on that one because it's fine. But anyway, the baseball, I was trying to find a baseball team to play for, and we weren't able to find any good. I don't think Christ Prep had baseball at the time, and back then homeschoolers couldn't play like on public school teams unless you went to the school, so that's no bueno. But yeah, that's what really sold me because I was like begging my mom to make me a baseball player, and like every single summer, spring, fall, I would be outside throwing like as hard as I possibly could to little Levi and little Zeke, and they'd be like scared, horrified of me throwing at them as hard as I could, and then they drop it, and I'd be like, "Catch it! Horrible!"
I can envision that.
Yeah, not hard to. But then one day they actually caught it, and they threw back hard, and I was like, "Yes, finally!"
Finally, after all of these years of training.
When did we? I can't remember when some of these good 2015, 2014 players started coming up in the Royals because like
Would have
I know that
been
we already had like Salvi debuted early 2010s, and then
Salvi debuted, I believe, in 2011. Because I remember he debuted on the road against the Rays and balled out.
yes,
Alex Gordon made the transition from infield to outfield. I think did some time late 2010 with the Royals, but was full time left field starting in 2011. The trade between the Brewers and Royals, Greinke for Escobar and Kane would have been in between 2010 and 2011, I believe.
no, that happened a little later.
No, because the Brewers went to the NLCS in 2011, and Zach Greinke was on that team. Um, boom, roasted. So,
Well, it's funny because that just shows how we didn't have all the pieces yet, but we had a lot of like they were not there yet, but we had all of them. It's weird to think about like 2014 and 2015, we were just destroying everybody. Like we were the best in the MLB by far
yeah,
all
I,
year.
I would say 2012 was the year because I think 11 is when everybody got called up. Eric Hosmer got called up. Mike Moustakas got called up. But my dad and I in 2012, we went to spring training in Arizona, and that's kind of when that team we were like watching them and we're like, this is the team. Like this team's gonna be good. We're
I
watching
didn't know
like
he did that. That's freaking cool.
yeah. We went and spent like a week in Arizona.
How was that? I've always heard surprise is awesome.
It's awesome because you have like I went to we went to two Royals games and we went to a um Rockies game. I don't remember who they were playing, but Rockies and Padres share a stadium. I don't remember who they were playing. It was back when Troy Tulowitzki was still on the Rockies. But anyway, really really awesome experience because if you're somebody that is like you like access, that's a good way to do it. That's a good place to go because you can go walk into the complex and there'll be and this is obviously dang near 15 years ago, so it might be different now, but like you could catch minor leaguers just walking in between fields, just walking amongst the people. So I remember like Mike Montgomery, big Mike Montgomery that was a hero for the 2016 Cubs. He was with the Royals. I remember walking right up to him and being like, "Hey, can I have your autograph, Mr. Montgomery?" I don't think I sounded like that, but you know, I have a whole book somewhere of autographs because you just walk up to players and like pregame. I remember obviously the stadiums are small in spring training, so you just walk right on up to uh the field and there's like I remember Mike Moustakas is walking down the third base line just signing autographs. So like the before we knew what Mike Moustakas was gonna do. So cool stuff like that because I remember he had like his pants were like up over his shoes and I'm like, what's up with that? But
But
anyway,
you mean like they like
it,
when they get the heel and they
yeah,
get it onto the back of their
yeah,
foot?
and it was like even up over the front of his foot too. I was like, what's going on with you, Mike?
Okay,
Anyway,
Michael.
but yeah, that was cool. And
Mr.
then
Moose.
like I remember my dad and I watching or watching Lorenzo Kane jog out to center field, and we're like, dude, he's gonna be good. And obviously Alex Gordon was out there. We already knew. Like I was already a big Alex Gordon fan anyway. So,
Yeah. Aren't we
but
all?
it was cool. And what was awesome, just random about that spring training, not Royals related. That was 20 before 2012 was when Albert Pujols signed with the Angels. So I was like one of the first people to see Albert Pujols in an Angels uniform. So that was cool.
I'm happy for you. I'm not an Albert fan.
Well, you're a
I'm
loser.
only a fan of the fact that he was able to hit so many home runs without juice. He really deserves to go to the Hall of Fame.
You don't. Are you insinuating that he was juicing?
No, no, no. No, 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 no. I'm just saying that I'm proud of him for not juicing.
Oh, you don't like
That's
him
the
though?
only reason. Other than that, I don't care for Albert. He
One of
he's a
the greatest hitters of our time, and
okay.
you're
So, but this is before the age of maturity where you respect Like when you're a kid, you don't have any respect or admiration for people that are good at their sport if they're not for your team. Like I hated Peyton Manning. I hated Tom Brady. I hated every single player that was not for the Royals so much because they were better than us. And I was a kid and there was no reason for me to like them because I hated them. Which sucks because there was so much good baseball back then. So much good stuff that I wish that I could look back and like remember more fondly. What are you doing over there?
My cat was going crazy under here. I had to get him to chill. I know we just took a huge trip down memory lane there. Um, but it's been 10 years since the Royals won it all in 2015, which the Royals throughout the season kind of celebrated that, obviously, but we haven't had a chance to really talk about it. But 10 years is
A lot of
wild.
days. Yeah.
Still one of the greatest kind of stretches for Kansas City as a sports town. Obviously, like we know like the Chiefs dynasty and what they did, but the Royals did something that felt impossible and brought them back into relevancy and made the town fall in love with baseball again in that kind of 2014-15 stretch. So looking back on it, there's so much that just went right for the team from a roster construction standpoint and just from like just the players doing their job. You had the whole keep the line moving. Obviously, you had the most dominant and historic back end of the bullpen in 14, 15. Obviously, 14, it was Herrera, Davis, Holland. 2015, it was Hochevar, Herrera, Davis. Just get to the seventh inning with a lead and we'll be good.
Yo.
And the Royals team kind of changed how teams construct their bullpen, and it's still kind of not only how they construct it, but just the value of bullpen players. So that's really cool. And then obviously, like the just many, many moments, iconic moments that happened with like Lorenzo Cain scoring from first in the ALCS, or Eric Hosmer's mad dash home because they scouted like Lucas Duda when he throws home, he's wild, which to me is still one of the most mind-blowing like scouting things ever. They're like, "Hey, if Lucas Duda gets the ball and we have a runner on third, we're going because he can't throw home." Like, all right.
This Duda.
Yeah.
This Duda. Yeah, I look back and it's funny because none of us growing up really had something like that. We never really had anything like that because the Chiefs were good when I was a little kid, but other than that, the Royals always kind of stunk. They never really sniffed the playoffs, and then the entire city was falling out of love of baseball for 30 years, and obviously we were kids, but with the run in 14, that really woke everyone up because gave us something to be super excited about. And it's funny because we all know how that ended in 2014. Madison Bumgarner beat the Royals in the World Series. The Giants did not beat the Royals in the World Series. So,
True. All right, before you
but
continue,
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
age-old question that'll be debated for generations. Should
The
Mike
answer is yes.
Churchill have
The
sent
answer is
Alex
yes,
Gordon?
man. Yeah, the answer is yes. I mean, if you're in that position, who was up next to bat? Was it Salvi? I mean, we had faith that Salvi was
Yeah.
going to do it because he was the one that had the magical moment already. But I mean, if he gets thrown out at home,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
the
know.
tough thing is
Jershely would be the most infamous person ever. He might not have made it to his car in the parking lot,
yeah.
but it's just like in that moment, he was rounding third when the cutoff man in short left got
Which
the
was
ball.
it was
He would
Brandon
have
Crawford.
Brandon Crawford would have thrown him out by a mile. But in that moment, I think all of Kansas City was saying go, and I think that Jershely probably knew that Alex Gordon was not going to score.
I
So
remember yeah. I remember where I was in my grandparents' old house watching it with them, and I'm like standing and I'm like, go, go, go.
I think we all were.
Yeah.
I think I was laying on the floor in my living room like this watching it, and as soon as he gets that hit, as soon as it bounces off the wall, man, if what's his name? What's that outfielder that finally got the ball? Was it Jorge
Okay.
Blanco? Is that what
Yeah,
it was?
something Blanco.
Something like that. Maybe Blanco. I think it was Blanco. Anyway, he gets that ball. If he would have just taken literally 1 second longer, 0 Mississippi 1, to pick up that ball, Gordon probably would have gotten sent. Now he probably still would have gotten thrown out by a mile because Brandon Crawford's insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that whole run, it was the most magical thing ever, sweeping the division series and the championship and making it to the World Series and finally meeting our match in Madison Bumgarner, the 6'8" southpaw that could just freaking.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Don't even get me started. I hate that
Yeah.
guy. But yeah, you see, I look back at that, and there's not a single bit of. Say what?
I said snot rocket slinging.
Freaking loser.
Yeah.
I hated that guy so much.
Absolute historic postseason run.
Yeah. So that really woke everyone up again. And I think it's funny because you expect a magical season like that to end with a World Series victory in 2014. And for it not to, and then in 2015, it wasn't quite as magical feeling, but you could just tell that we were winning. Like from game 1 on, you could tell that the Royals were going to win the World Series. And then when we get matched up against the Mets, where their best pitcher is Matt Harvey,
And
you're like,
yep.
yeah. And we beat them 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 5.
4 games to 1, yeah.
Yeah, that was that season was obviously amazing. But looking at the 14-15, you almost feel like we won in 14 because of how dominant it was in the playoff run.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2015, you look back and you're like, I mean, it clearly wasn't as dominant, but we still beat great teams. We beat I remember how amazing it felt beating Toronto after the bat flip, after the Jose Bautista bat flip, and then they come in and he's the one that doesn't make the throw for one of the most amazing plays of that run.
Again,
dude.
like great scouting.
Yeah. Well, he had a great arm. I remember he like I was afraid of him throwing our people out because back then we had such good base running. Like that was one of our biggest strong suits with our base running. And when Lorenzo Cain's on base, you don't have any hesitation at all to send him or to have him do what he needs to do. But that was, whenever he's running a certain direction and, his momentum's carrying him a certain direction and he's not going to be able to throw out Lorenzo Cain. Oh, it was so beautiful.
Yeah, and I think, going into 2015, they had the unfinished business and a chip on their shoulder. And I remember it was like the Royals are fighting everybody, right? You had Yordano Ventura that was like just ready to go at any moment. Mike Moustakas, same thing. He's like, hey, are you talking over there? And then he's ready to go. And the Royals were like, you don't want to mess with them. And just complete and utter dominance again. 95 wins, 1 seed. And then Dayton Moore made the right trades at the deadline. Brought in Johnny Cueto. Hey, we need help pitching wise. And
these Obes.
Yeah, Ben Zobrist. It was great.
I still have my Ben Zobrist t-shirt somewhere in my keepsake box, my size small Ben Zobrist t-shirt.
I think about like Yordano Ventura and Mike Moustakas and kind of the enforcers that they are or were. And we've talked about it before, like the 2025 Royals just don't have that guy where it's like, we need to go fight somebody. Obviously not advocating for like benches clearing all the time, but sometimes like you got to light a fire. I got a tickle.
Tickling your tonsils, huh?
Yep. I still have those. Anyway.
But yeah, for some reason, like as amazing as someone like Salvador Perez has been, as amazing as Bobby Witt Jr. has been already in his first few seasons, like they don't have. I feel like there's like a personality thing. Like whenever you look at the 2015 Royals, like not only were they really good, but they had aura. Like every single player on that team had a chip on their shoulder. Like they knew that they were better than you and they carried themselves in a way that proved that. But not only did they like play well, like even when they're sitting in the bench, they're still in people's heads because they had the personality, they had that aura, and they were living rent free in everyone's heads. Every pitcher that went up to the mound, you know, they're afraid of what could happen because of the magic of how good they were.
Well, so I think one big thing that I remember with the 14-15 team, I don't remember what year it was, but it was Lorenzo Cain on first base. I don't remember if it was Victor Martinez or if it would have been Miguel Cabrera, but one of them was trying to talk to him, obviously with Detroit, and Lorenzo Cain was basically like, "I don't want to talk to you. Like, I'm tired of you guys beating us. Like, blah 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 blah." And that, I think baseball 10 years ago is just different than it is now as far as how players are. Everybody's friends now.
That's how most sports are
Yeah.
professionally in
Everybody
general.
trains in the off season together.
Yeah.
So there's no real like hatred. Now, but I would love for that to still be a thing. Maybe not like amongst the players, but like, oh, we're playing the Tigers. This is a big series, and there's going to be a little bit of fire in it, you know?
That would be really nice. There's so many times that they just don't have, at least the 2025 Royals, you wish they had that moment of really having that fire, because like how, you know, Chad Caglione strikes out in a huge moment and he just walks off all sad looking. And if he were to, you know, start cussing and break the bat over his knee or something, I think that would fire up the team enough to get that extra hit or something,
Yeah.
anything. Even if it were just him, if he were to fire himself up just to get one good thing. Like, I don't think that it's, I don't want to say it's like a clubhouse, like like the entire clubhouse has that mentality.
I think it kind of does, though. I think it kind of does because I feel like it starts at the top with Matt Quatrero. Excuse me.
Who I've only gotten seen get thrown out of a game one time ever.
Yeah, he is. I like him. He's just very, very laid back for me sometimes, where I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel like you should be in the umpire's face right now defending your players, you know? Like,
Yeah.
There's a couple times last season where I'm like, he needs to be getting thrown out of this game right now. Like, why is he still on the bench? So,
What was that completely outrageous thing that happened literally last season where someone, we were playing oh no, dude, the 2024 playoffs against the Yankees. Jazz Chisholm sliding into second.
yeah.
And Quatrero's just like, dude, get off your butt and go scream at somebody. Fire up your team. Like, it starts with you.
That was crap.
So, yeah.
Not even by Quatrero, because that play was reviewed by New York. And they were like, no, he's safe. Like, no, he was not safe, New York.
You stupid. New York was like, oh, yeah, he's safe, probably.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, he's probably.
Yeah, New York. Yep, safe. Yep, definitely safe.
New York's like, let me look closely here. I think that's safe. Yeah.
Yeah. I know we're kind of jumping all over the place with the timeline here of Royals baseball. It's been kind of fun, but we in our lifetime, we've been to many playoff games in the very, small sample size that the Royals have had, but just specifically 2015, since that's kind of the theme here, I guess, sort of. I want to talk about some of the games that we went to, because you and I have a shared experience, then we both went to our own games.
Yeah. Let me pull that up again because I'm forgetting which ones they were.
So Royals, they won 95 games. 2015, they were they had the best record in the AL, and this was when this was still like they only had a wild card game, so the 5 teams in each that made the division. Best team in each league awaited the winner of the wild card. Anyway, so Royals hosted the Astros, the Houston Astros, and we went to game 1. You, me, Celeste, and my mom, because my mom volunteered to do like parking duty, and there was this thought that if you do parking
Not a
duty,
thought. Not a thought.
it was
We
a
were
thing.
told this.
It was
Yeah,
a
it was a
thing.
thing.
Yeah. If you do parking duty, they'll let you into the game and you can do standing room only. So we were like, oh, yeah, we'll do parking. And we were just like, you know, who better to have than a bunch of 17, 18-year-olds wandering around directing parking. Great
Hey,
job.
we're wearing the vest, so
Yeah.
we were
Yep.
in
So,
charge.
yeah, we're doing that. And we get up and go to the gate that they tell us to go to. And they're like, oh, no, we're not doing that anymore. So then we're like, well, what do we do? So fortunately for us, obviously it's a postseason game, so tickets aren't going to be cheap. There's a ticket scalper, I guess.
I don't look at him as a scalper. I look
Okay.
at him as a good Samaritan.
Okay, so there's a guy. He's selling tickets. He has 4 of them. They aren't together. It's 2 and 2, but he was wanting like 40 a pop for them, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, it would have been like $160 total, which honestly isn't bad. But we didn't have cash on us. He wanted cash, and so first he was like, "Hey, let's just walk up to the bank that's like across Blue Ridge Cutoff," and we're like, "Dude, we're not doing that."
The game's right now.
Yeah, and so I go in and I'm like going to the ATM, and there's somebody in front of me at the ATM just taking forever, and he gets impatient. And he's like, my boss is calling me. I got to go, blah, 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 blah. And we end up getting 4 tickets for $40 total. One of the greatest steals ever.
Yeah. If you're out there, sir, thank you once again for your contribution to society.
Yeah.
It was a great day.
Yep.
It
Yeah.
was great and then horrible for like 20 minutes and then great again.
Yep. Yeah. It was like, oh, what are we going to do? Like, we're not just going to go home after doing traffic. But that was a crazy game. And the Royals lost that game, but we had that the rain delay.
Yeah, I remember that. Chris Young was pitching, and I was like, crap, because I really thought that Chris Young was going to, like, keep us in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And we had that huge rain delay, which I don't even know. It was like an hour and a half. I don't know how long.
It was a long rain delay. Yeah.
I have lots of pictures of me sitting up in the stands with my buddy that we met. We have a couple funny pictures, me and Celeste do.
I think this is from game 1 of the ALDS.
This one right here.
This is Celeste's. This is like from her makeup because it was raining.
Yeah, mine's a little yellowed as well because of dirty rain and sweaty teenager.
Yeah.
Right her.
Yep. But
yeah, that was a great game.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
it was a horrible game because we lost. I mean, everything always gets overshadowed by losses, but you know, you look back at the day, it was a good day overall.
It is one of my favorite memories of just that timeline because of like everything that went down, and then I always am like, we got 4 tickets for $10 each to a playoff game.
Hard to beat that.
Yeah.
And then I think the next one I went to was the ALCS game 1, and that was a really intense game, but at the same time a little difficult because it was me, my dad, my brother Titus, and Celeste, and we were all in the standing room of left field behind the left field foul pole. Like, there's usually a media bleachers there nowadays, but there wasn't back then, and we were in the standing room. And not gonna lie, really hard to see from that far away. We could still tell what was happening, but you know, we were using the jumbotron and the ribbon board to really tell everything that was happening because it was kind of hard to see from that vantage point. But it was still awesome. I'll never forget chanting for Edison Volquez because I don't think he might have had a complete game, but he really pitched his butt off. I'm pretty sure we won like 5-0, something really awesome. We really really laid it on those Blue Jays that day. But for it to be game one against the Toronto Blue Jays and for us to do that well, we were all really happy because, we hated the Blue Jays.
Yeah. Yeah, the Blue Jays were kind of like, I mean, they had the better offense and they were kind of like they're a pretty good team.
Yeah.
So that was a fun season or fun series to go.
I want to
But
pull up what happened in that game. I want to see what the score was and stuff.
yeah, it was 5-0. You were right on the
Shoot,
score.
was it really?
Yeah.
Let's go. The Royals scored all 5 runs in the second and fourth innings. The key plays included a 2-run double by Lorenzo Cain in the second inning, a solo home run by Mike Moustakas in the fourth, and then Alex Gordon and Eric Hosmer added runs in the fourth as well after the home run.
Yeah. And so I got to go to World Series game 1. And I remember my dad and I talking about that because to that point, outside of ALDS game 1, I went to a couple with my dad in 14 as well. And we're like, oh, they're going to the World Series. We got to go. And we were kind of contemplating, like, should we go and try to get, like, tickets for game 6 or what? And we're like, no, that'd be silly because, like, what if they don't? Like, we have the opportunity now. And glad that the Royals went, or glad we went to game 1, obviously, because
winning in New York.
yeah, they won. Yeah, they won game 5 in New York and clinched. So that would have been like, oh, bummer. But game 1, obviously, Alex Gordon hits the home run, the game tying home run in the bottom of the 9th, and has what I would assume if Alex Gordon gets a statue is going to be what the statue is. So had that, and then I think Chris Young got the win in extras. Eric Hosmer hit a walk-off sac fly to right field in like the 14th inning or something. The Royals won 5-4.
What a game.
Yeah, that was a great game. And that was cool for Eric Hosmer because I also remember Eric Hosmer committed an error, and I think the 8th inning that was like a really just, dude, what are you doing?
And isn't that why we even went to extras? Was because of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was a simple, like, dude, just get in front of the ball type of error. What are you doing? And so for him to kind of get that redemption was also cool. But Alex Gordon's home run, I think, because I was at the wild card game too. And when Salvi hit the walk-off in 14, I was like, okay, that is the loudest I've ever heard Kauffman Stadium, or loudest stadium I've ever been in.
Whoa.
And then Alex Gordon hit the home run, and I was like, this is the loudest I've ever heard a stadium. So,
man,
yeah,
that's crazy.
It was awesome.
You might have been in the 2 best games in Kauffman.
Yeah,
ever, maybe.
I think from a moment's standpoint, I would agree. Like, if you're thinking back on that run, those are 2 big moments. Because obviously, what Salvi does in 14, like, if he doesn't do that, then we don't have anything after that.
True.
But yeah, no, 10 years. And I know we were looking at some kind of parallels between the 2015 team and 2025 Kansas City Royals. So, Moses, if you want to give us those. Obviously, the big difference is lack of postseason. But from a number standpoint, there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah, so when you look at it on the surface and you kind of start thinking about, like, players and positions, one of the things I first thought of was, if you just look at each position, Salvi was obviously still there, so we still have an elite catcher. First base, Eric Hosmer and Vinny Pasquantino. Honestly, Vinny might be a better offensive piece. Defensively, Hosmer might have had the edge a little bit. Second base, duds. You know how it is. Omar versus Jonathan India.
Yeah.
Royals are famously bad at second base, apparently.
Yeah, they just can't find a second baseman.
Yeah. Shortstop, Alcides Escobar, Bobby Witt Jr. Obviously, Bobby is Bobby, and the numbers are insane. But as far as a momentum standpoint, it seems like Esky was always in the big moments, making big plays. Third base, we had Mike Moustakas, and now we have Michael Garcia. Again, 2 elite defenders, pretty good hit for average people. At least last year, Garcia was a lot better than he was, and Moose, I know he had I don't remember which season Moose had a down season, but 2015 he was doing pretty good.
Yeah, 2014 was the year the Moose got sent down.
But yeah, so you just keep looking at all of our pieces, and there seems to be a little bit of similarities. Obviously, personalities are different. That's something we touched on earlier. Is you can have all the numbers but not have a personality, and it might just kind of swing you an interesting way. But some of the stats that you might not realize are actually as close as they are. In 2015, the Royals had a team ERA of 3.73, 641 runs allowed in 2015. In 2025, they had a 3.73 team ERA with 637 runs allowed. So pitching wise, they were extremely similar. They both had, like, in 2015, the starters weren't nearly as elite as what we have now with Cole Reagans and Seth Lugo, and Chris Bubich was pitching his butt off, and Noah Cameron was even doing pretty good. But 2015, we had Jeremy Guthrie,
Jimmy Guthrie,
Edison Volquez, yeah, Giordano Ventura,
yeah,
um,
Chris Young.
Chris Young, who pitched really good those seasons, surprisingly, but kind of looking at the strength of 2015 was obviously the back end of their bullpen with Hochevar, Herrera, and Davis. And 2025 Royals, we had Lucas Urseg and we had Estevez holding it down. And it's kind of funny. You don't really think that there would be that, like, their ERA is identical. Like, that's shocking to the 10th decimal, to the 3.73 both seasons.
That actually is surprising to me, because now obviously the Royals were great in 15, so like it makes sense, but we don't think about the pitching from those teams.
Yeah.
We think about the offense, the contact heavy offense, the heavy emphasis on defense, and then the back end of the bullpen. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So it's funny you mention how we don't think about the pitching. We do think about the offense. So that's where we are very different in 2015 to 2025. The run differential in 2015 was plus 83. We gave up, or I should say we scored 83 more runs than we gave up in 2015. In 2025, we were plus 14. So that's a difference of, quick math, 69, 79, 69, 69. That goes to show how you might have the record in 2015 was 95 wins. We had 82 wins in 2025. So the amount of runs we scored was not even close. But on the side of offense, there's two other stats that really were actually very similar. In 2015 and 2025, we both led the MLB in the fewest strikeouts. 2015, we had 973 strikeouts total. In 2025, we had a lot more, but it was still the least in the MLB with 1,096. So it's a difference of about 123 strikeouts. So we're a contact team now as much as we were then, which is really cool. And then also our slugging, we were hitting lots of doubles and hitting lots of home runs. So in 2015, we had 300 doubles and 139 home runs. And then in 2025, we had 292 doubles and 159 home runs. So we actually hit more home runs last season than we did in 2015. But one of the last things on offense that was a big standout thing was how good we were at running the bases and the emphasis of base running. I know towards the end of the season, we had a few bonehead plays, but 2015, we had 104 steals with Lorenzo Cain and Gerard Dyson just tearing it up on the base pads. And then 2015, obviously, Bobby Witt Jr. was killing, but we had 111. So we actually had more. So, all it takes is a few pieces here and there and actually, scoring runs. It seems that's the biggest difference here, is that 2015 we were able to score those runs. And I'm curious to see what our hitters, our average with runners in scoring position was in 2015 compared to 2025. We have a really elite defense up the middle in 2015 and 2025. With 2015, we had Lorenzo Cain in center. We had Escobar. And hate them all you want, but Omar Infante was pretty good at second base, and then Salvi is at catcher. So down the middle of our field, we were very elite. And then in 2025 with Kyle Isbell, really good outfielder defensively, and then Bobby Witt Jr. is obviously the best of the best, and then Salvi's still holding it down at catcher. So you'd be surprised how many things are actually similar. And I don't know why I thought of that, but it kind of started with me thinking about, we have similar players with like, it started with me thinking about Vinny Pasquantino and Eric Hosmer, how uh, at first base they feel like similar players. They're not really, but they feel like they are. They're both lefties, big hitters. Vinny is what you said earlier. He's kind of what we wished Hosmer was offensively.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's pretty fun to look back and kind of reminisce and then kind of draw some comparisons, and maybe that'll inspire the team to kind of think, we were there. Like the pitching is there, lots of the hitting metrics are there. I am curious to see. I need to look up what their. I'm gonna look up their runner hitting with runners in scoring position.
So here we go.
What you got?
They were in 2025. The Royals had a batting average of 255 with runners in scoring position, which they kind of picked it up in the back half of the season, but that was kind of league average was 255.
Okay. So in 2015, the Royals hit for 281 with runners in scoring position. So almost 36 higher. I mean, your margin of error is just so small in baseball, and it goes to show. I obviously am not claiming that if it were that much, if we hit for 281 with runners in scoring position, that we would be a World Series caliber dominant team. But clearly you can see 281 with runners in scoring position is clearly a lot better than 255. And
Well, I think it's the difference between being a playoff team and not being a playoff team at the very least.
yeah, we were right on the cusp in 2025. And you're telling me that if it was, what is that?
If they hit 270, they're probably in.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, we can talk about June all day long.
If they hit 255 in June, what would it be?
If they won 4 more games at home in June, they'd be a playoff team. So,
what were they doing in June? Were they too hot and sweaty? Did they need to like upgrade
they must have been
dugout or something?
They're like, you know what? We're gonna win 1 game in June. Not only are we gonna win 1 game in June, but we're gonna wait till like the last week of the month to win it too. The Savannah Bananas are gonna be in town in June, and they're gonna win more home games at Kauffman Stadium than we will in the month of June.
It was so infuriating.
Yeah.
Let's change the subject, Brandon.
All right.
Let's change the subject.
Yeah, we can get off of the 2025 Royals. But there are similarities there. But
yeah, fun to look at.
Yeah, 2015 Royals. Like I think people are still. We just sat here and did it. We're like, let's compare the 2025 season to the 2015 team. So people are always going to compare that team to anything that happens moving forward, right?
Yeah. Well, it's the standard. I mean, that's the only season of ultimate success that Kansas City's familiar with. And if you're wanting to draw comparisons to see how we can get there, hitting with runners in scoring position is a great place to start, because we are already on track with a lot more things than I think people really realize. So, it's just you got to have that dog, and you got to have that aura. You got to start, making the pitcher scared to pitch to you, and clutch it up a little bit.
And yeah, I think that's spot on, because I think last year the teams just did not fear the Royals, and that's what you need. You need.
Dude, hopefully that reminds me of, not to cut you off, that reminds me so much of, we were in the hunt. It was the last month of the season. We were playing some really close games and some not close games, but the close games that we would lose were so infuriating, because we would be there and we would give it up, and then we would have 7th, 8th, 9th inning to get one more run. And there's I don't remember what team it was. I'll be honest, I can't remember, but there was a late relief pitcher that came in. I had never heard of him. He did not have good stats. His only thing that they were noting, Rex Hudler was saying, this guy's got a heater. He has an insane fastball. They need to be ready for that because he is an aggressive pitcher and he will blow it by you if you're not ready. He struck out all three batters with fastballs only. I don't even know if he threw. He might have thrown a couple. I do remember he threw a couple off speeds that like hit the dirt, and luckily we didn't swing. But every single other pitch, it was swinging strikes, completely overpowering players, and it's just like, come on, man, come on. We're proud of not striking out. That was one of our best statistics we had, with not being. We had the least amount of strikeouts, but like teams not being afraid to just throw it at you and just give it all they have just because they know they can beat you. They know they can overpower you, and that just sucked to see. That just is something I don't want to remember, and I'm sad that I remember it.
Yeah, well, hopefully with the revamped hitting staff, it'll be better.
We will be better.
Yeah.
Not hopefully, we will be. I believe.
No, I think it will be, and whenever the Royals go make a trade for a bat, it'll be even better.
And then when Jack Caglione stops hitting 180, that'll be even better.
I think Jack Caglione is probably the key to success, and I think he'll have it. I mean, he has to be better, right? But I mean, even if he's 60 points better from a batting average standpoint, you're like, oh, okay, we're headed in the right direction. Obviously, it's kind of a one day at a time. You can't do it all in one day, but yeah, I think it runs through him.
I'd be okay with that. I mean, we wanted to get a outfield bat, and we have an insane outfield bat that doesn't know how to hit the ball.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think this year we should be in for a very pleasant surprise with him, because if he shows up and hits 225, that's a lot more productivity at that spot in the lineup. And it's not like Salvi's never getting on base. He's always hitting doubles. He's out there. So if Jack can start figuring out how to do that, that might be the key. I think you're right. And then also having an additional left field bat, that would be huge.
It's gonna happen.
Duran.
Oh my. All right. Moving on.
All right, Brandon. What do you got? Anything else?
Yes.
Care to share it with the people? I'm sure they'd like to know.
Go out and make yourself a snow ice cream and enjoy.
What am I, Amish? What do I look like to you? Okay, fun fact before we close off.
This is why I said it.
The Weiss family experimented with snow ice cream one winter. We all got violently sick for like 3 days. We couldn't hold any food down. We were all violently puking. Not only that, it doesn't even taste that good. Go get you some Great Value vanilla bean.
Yeah.
For
You're not
$1.50.
supposed to use the yellow snow.
You're so funny.
I know.
You're so funny and original, Brandon.
All right. I know. That's why they pay me the big bucks.
I'm done talking to you.
All right.
Bye, everybody. Sorry you had to hear that horrible take once again. Bye. Peace.